How often are you scrolling through your Facebook feed and you see more negative than positive? I don't know about you, but this has been the norm for me lately. I even saw a friend the other day tell all of their other friends that with a click of a button, just an app, they could delete all the friends who were supporting a certain candidate or a certain cause, just like that. Delete the friendship. Now, I'm pretty fatigued by this, the anger, the hatred, and the negativity. And it got me thinking about what was it that I fell in love with for social media to begin with? What was it? And I remembered it was a specific evening. It was March 11th, 2011. And it was one of the most impactful moments of my life. I was actually on the elliptical machine for a while, and I was scrolling through my iPad on Twitter. I should have been working out much harder, clearly. But all of a sudden, I see hashtag Japan earthquake start trending. And then it became a worldwide trending topic. And I look up, and I see on the TV screen CNN with this breaking news. There were semi-trucks that were being pushed over with waves. And every moment was critical. So I immediately went to these news outlets' Twitter accounts to see what they were saying. And it was fairly late at night where I was. It was in Phoenix, Arizona, on the West Coast. So all of the news outlets were on the East Coast, they were not doing anything or saying anything. Because at that point, we didn't really use social communication the same way. They were silent. And I thought, wow, every second matters right now. I wonder what I could do. And because of the work that I do, I have a fairly large following on Twitter. So I thought, let me try to just see what I can do to help. I went to my kitchen table and set up this little command center, just my laptop. This is in the middle of the night. And I just started shifting information from one set of hands to the other that I could find. One individual was trapped, and they tweeted out, "I am trapped, I need help." So I'd take that information and retweet it and tag the first responders that I could find. This is what everybody was really doing if they happened to be awake at that time. There were also maps being shared of where the tsunami would hit the outer regions and when that would happen. So we were shifting this information from one set of hands to another, and there was nothing special about what I was doing that night. It was just everyone that was awake and happened to be there was doing the same thing. I remember my hands just shaking, and heart was racing the entire night, pure adrenaline. That's when I fell in love with social media. That's when I realized that with a click of a button, someone could save someone else's life, a from the other side of the globe. I started thinking about this the other day, and I was like, well, why don't we do that? Why don't we accelerate the act of helping one another and the act of kindness? We can scale the act of kindness every day versus just when a tragedy strikes. So I started thinking about this more, and I thought, I wonder if we could open source kindness. And I tried a few experiments. First, I looked at the true meaning of serotonin and some of the science of serotonin. It's pretty simple. It works like this. If you do something nice for me, you get a hit of serotonin. So do I, as the recipient. But so does everyone else who witnesses that act. So if we take that concept online, we have potentially billion of people who could witness that act, and we could make this spreadable, scalable, contagious, viral. So I just went to my following on Twitter one day and said, "Hi everybody, can I help you? I have some extra time. Is there anything I can do to help?" Well, the response was quite interesting. I had several people say, "You know what, there's nothing I really need, but thank you for asking, because it makes me want to help someone now." Someone said, "I'm walking into a job interview right now. Do you have any last-minute advice?" So I told them what I thought. A month later, they ended up direct messaging me, and they got the job. They said, "I don't know if it was your advice, but it made me feel good and more confident." And that made me feel good, of course. The next experiment that I did was on Facebook. I saw a friend do this, so I did it as well. On Facebook, I asked my friends to help me out with an experiment and do these 3 things. Number 1, like this post because it'll keep the Facebook algorithm happy, and we'll keep it up in the feed. Number 2, in the comment section, share something that you could use help with. And number 3, scroll through the comments and see if there's anyone that you can help. So I did this, and the post was on fire. So many people started helping one another, and it was the most impactful, kind of powerful moment. It reminded me of that night during the Japan earthquake, but a positive impact. There were people who were sharing heavy things that they needed help with, light things, big, small. One individual even said, I have this idea. I want to get in front of Elon Musk. And if anybody can help me with that, I'd appreciate it. Well, after a couple of days and certain people tagging one another, someone said, I actually could connect you with Elon Musk. If you can prove to me that you have a good enough idea and it's solid, I could make that happen. Another person was struggling with insomnia. That started a whole nother conversation. There were thousands of likes, hundreds of comments. And I realized this is what people were excited about. It was like kindness was a currency almost, a give and take. That's when I decided, okay, let's really study this. So I found a partner in crime, a researcher, Dr. Zeev Kane. He's a scientist that knows a lot more about research than I do. And we did a clinical, formal research study. We had 500 people raise their hand to participate. We divided that into 2 randomly, and we had an intervention set, and we had a control set. And we put these 2 sets of people into one of 2 private Facebook groups, the intervention and the control. Now, over with the intervention group, what we did is we exposed them to positive good deeds over the course of several days. So I had seeded people to go in and post things like, I was at the grocery store today and I had a full cart of groceries. The person behind me actually only had 2, so I let them go in front of me. And it made me feel good. So those types of posts were happening over on the intervention side. And what happened is the participants started doing this themselves too. They would post what they were doing, but they had no idea what this study was about. And we intentionally made sure that they didn't know. Now over here on the control side, it was quite boring. Very neutral content, not positive, not negative. That was the goal, is to keep it control. Now, at the same time as this was happening, we were tracking the behavior and the acts of kindness that the participants were doing in the real world, in the physical world. And the results were amazing. The proportion of people in the intervention group who were reporting that they were doing acts of kindness increased 10% in 3 days. So what that means is, and that's compared to the control group, so what we're seeing is that what we're exposed to online via social media impacts our behavior in the physical world. This isn't just about how we feel, but it's about what we do, literally. So these 2 worlds are colliding. And now we see that, things that we wouldn't say in the physical world, or even things we would do, like litter, well, we shouldn't do those in the online world either. Because everything we do, say, post, comment, like, in the online world is impacting the physical world. So if you think about this, anyone can do this. It's almost kind of like a new form of volunteering, right? So at any time, any place, for any length of time, you can hop in and see how you might be able to help someone and create that spread of serotonin. Now, what group would be better than arguably one of the most passionate, empowering groups in the world, which is right here, to spark and spread serotonin? We can do this. You can do this. And we can dominate the world with positive disruption. Why not now? Thank you.